real quick, I want to say thank you so much to all my subscribers. I can't believe we've gone over 900. We're gonna hit 1,000. That's amazing. So if you've been here from the beginning, thank you so much. If you just got here, thank you so much. Yeah, let's get right into this video. I thought we could look at crochet diagrams because I've been obsessed with them. I'll show you how to read a crochet diagram for this granny hexagon African flower. It's really fun to work up. I really enjoy these because you can kind of get a glance at what the whole pattern is going to be, big picture, versus a written pattern. You kind of have to look line by line, which is a little harder to imagine. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at a grid, we're going to work it up together, read it together. I'll explain to you what all the symbols mean and everything you need to know to work this up. And I'll also have Pinterest boards linked below with different levels of difficulty of crochet grids, so you can check those out yourself. I'm using a 4mm hook for this. Diagram or graph. In the middle there is an MR, and that stands for magic ring. So we're just going to make an old-fashioned magic ring. And that is the magic ring on my hook. It's using a 4-weight cotton, by the way. Next thing we see next to this magic ring is number 1. That really sticks out to us right away. A lot of patterns are going to have numbers like this, so that's really useful. And to the very left of that, we see that there is a chain of 3. This is represented by those 3 ovals. Each oval signifies a chain of 1, so 3 together is a chain of 3. If we work our way to the left counterclockwise again, we see that there's this T with a dash across it. That is the symbol for a double crochet. That's always going to be the symbol for a double crochet. And then if we keep moving to the left, we see that there's an oval. We know that's a chain. And this sort of repeats around. So now we actually know all the stitches that we need to do for our first round. And let's go ahead and work through that together. So the first thing we discussed was the chain of 3, which is those 3 ovals. There's the T with a dash, which means a double crochet. So we'll just make a double crochet into the magic ring. Moving on to the left, we see an oval, which is a chain of 1. And then we see that there's actually 2 T's with the dash next to each other, which means 2 double crochets. So we'll put 2 double crochets. And there's another oval, which is a chain of 1. And it looks like that actually is just going to repeat around 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. So I'll go ahead and repeat that. So in this magic ring, if we look at the grid or if we look at what we have in our hands, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of these double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they all have a chain of 1 in between. There's a little dot to the left of that last chain that we have in this round. That is a slip stitch. A dot is the symbol for a slip stitch. So we'll go ahead and close our magic ring, and we can slip stitch. Now we also want to make sure that we slip stitch next to where it says 2. So the dot is right next to the top of the chain 3 that we started with, the very topmost oval. And so we want to make sure to chain in, or slip stitch into that. Next we can see that there's these arrows. In this case means that that is where the round ends. Where the arrow is pointing next, it's kind of pointing to the left, and it's pointing to the bottom of a purple chain 3. Working stitches on top of an oval like this, you're usually going to go into the chain 1 space, not into the actual stitch of the chain 1. So I'm chaining on just to tie it on. And now it says to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And that was represented by the 3 ovals. Next, if I move counterclockwise, I see that there's again the symbol for a double crochet. I'll work that into that same chain space because it's pointing to that same oval. Next to that, we have an oval, which is a chain. And then moving to the left, we see 2 more double crochets into the chain space. 1 and 2. Directly counterclockwise, we see another double crochet, but it's pointing actually down to the next chain space. It's right here. We're going to double crochet 2. Then we're going to chain 1, represented by the oval, and double crochet 2. That pattern just repeats around. In every chain space, we have 2 double crochet, a chain, and 2 double crochet. So I'll just go ahead and work my way around the circle. So the last thing we see in this round, little dot. It's like really hard to see in this case, but it is there. And if you notice, there's kind of like a dotted line that arches over into round 3. So that is where that dot for that slip stitch is. So we'll slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. There's this arched dotted line pointing to round 3, and it's actually pointing to go a slip stitch because there's a dot into the chain 1 space. You slip stitch right into that space. Next we see that there are 3 ovals, so a chain of 3. And moving counterclockwise, there's 3 symbols for double crochets, so I will put 6 double crochets. Six double crochets, and that actually counts as 7 with our chain 3. And if I move counterclockwise, there's this kind of green post in my way. I'm going to ignore it, skip over that, and keep moving on with my purple. I'm not going to worry about the green until the next round. So moving on, I can see that there's just 7 now double crochets going into the chain 1 space, into my next chain 1 space. So we'll do that. Great. So this just repeats all the way around. They just put 7 in each of the chain spaces. So no surprise, we're going to end with a slip stitch. We can see the dot and the arrow pointing down. That is a good sign that that is exactly where we need to slip stitch to end the round. And the flower is looking so beautiful already. So now we're going to chain one, fasten off. It doesn't say to do that, that's just how I fasten off, because we're going to change back to green here. And we can see that there's these like 3 arrows kind of pointing to where we need to begin. So that is where it's going to start and where it's going to end. So what we need to do is attach our yarn and into the same stitch put a single crochet. And we're also going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet when we end. So we see that the slip stitch is not on the top of the chain 3, but it's actually rather on the double crochet right next to it. So my yarn is on there, little X, which is the symbol for a single crochet. Single crochets on the top of each double crochet. You can even double check. There are 6 X's and I have 6 single crochets. So now for this one where it reaches down into the second row, you're just literally going to do just that. It's just a single crochet into the second round. I'm going to finish with my 7 single crochets that go on top of the 7 double crochets. And then I also have to make sure to put my single crochet in between into the second row. And then finally, there is another X there that is sort of like in between the first double crochet and the chain 3. I think that's just their best way of trying to put it, that it needs to go on top there. So we do need one more single crochet. That's what the grid is telling us. And then we see that slip stitch. And that is the end of the 4th round. Last round. So for now I will just fasten this off, which is just chaining 1 and pulling through. So in the grid it tells us that we are going, so we see these 2 arrows. This is the first thing. So we can tie on our yarn and put a single crochet, and it looks like that one is directly above this middle stitch. So that is where we are going to begin. The green X's below, we can kind of see directly above which X that matches up with. We can see that there's going to be a single crochet starting right there. So it's the middle stitch of that 7. So I'm tying on my yarn, and in the same stitch I'm going to make a single crochet. And moving counterclockwise, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets. And it looks like there's an X, a black X on top of a green X for every single one except for our long single crochet that we made right here. So what that means is we're just going to skip over it. It doesn't get a single crochet over it. So put a single crochet where we do need them on top of these single crochets. I am now at my long one, so I'm going to skip it and put 3 more. And now I can see that I'm at one of my corners. And so into the same single crochet, which is the middle of the 7, we're going to have a single crochet, a chain, and a single crochet on the same stitch. Single crochet, chain, single crochet. So that is how the corner is worked. We're just going to continue following this pattern they have set for us, which was the 6 single crochets, skipping the long one, and then putting a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the middle of the 7. Skipping the long one, I worked my corner and made 3 stitches here. I have to make 3 more and then I have to finish my corner because remember the corners have a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and so far I only have my single crochet. So I'm skipping my long one. This is probably where it gets the sketchiest, where we slip stitch to end the round. And so that was 1, 2, okay, last one by itself. And then now I'm going back into that corner and I'm going to make a single crochet, chain 1, and then slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet. So now that corner is complete as well. It's so pretty, I love it. And this is a great one because from here you can really read a lot of grids. If you can read this and understand this one, then you can read a lot of other grids. And if you're interested, I actually have levels 1, 2, and 3 of crochet grids where I've been trying to kind of separate them out by level of difficulty. So check out the level 1s. That's where I keep this pattern. If you want to see other similar grids, other flower shapes and such. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check that out. I will have it linked in the description. So that is it. That is how you read the pattern grid. Hopefully you guys are able to now go off on your own and read some pattern grids and work up some other things. I'll have those linked below and reference. And yeah, that is it for this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.